Is my tie on straight? Alright. My fellow Americans, YouTubers, and anime vicers alike. These are trying times. Times where the world is being invaded and destroyed by them. Them being the somehow undead. It's not known how or why they came along or showed up, but it is known that they are wreaking havoc all over the world. And I've been told a story that tells me that it is all up to a group of Japanese high school students to save the world. I have here with me documents on disc that describe part of their tale, their journey to survive. Now, I'm telling you this because it is important that we know how to survive such a cataclysmic event and still keep our sanity and humanity. So without further ado, from Daisuke and Shoji Sato, the creators of this story, brought to us by Madhouse and Sentai Filmworks, I present to you, the public, what is known as High School of the Dead. This collection is told on 2 discs for 12 episodes in Blu-ray format in full 1080p HD. And first I want to talk to you about the sub versus dub. I'll tell you that the sub is very good. The voices are done very well. They bring out the emotions of the characters. They're very suiting. Then we have the dub. The dub voices are not too bad, not fully suiting, but yet when you hear the dub, it's kind of hard to figure who you would rather hear as the characters' voices. But one major difference, well, I actually most consider a flaw to the dub, is the changing of the script. A lot more language and recent references were added into the script for the dubbing, and has led many to be ashamed, upset, possibly causing riots on the internet. But fear not, that's why the sub is available. So you do not have to watch and listen to the dub if you do not wish to. My personal choice would be the sub. The dub is alright, but personal choice would be the sub. Now, moving on to the animation. The animation itself is very good because it is based on very good drawing by the Sato brothers. And the animation was brought to life by Madhouse, which is a very well-known animation studio. I do not need to go into explaining how top-notch they are. So the animation is very good, the coloring is very good, whether it be the lighter side of things or the darker side of things, and the detail is done very well. Otherwise, as far as the upscale goes, the upscale is done very well. Obviously, the show was not made for HD, but the being upscaled to 1080p works very well. The full screen looks very nice. Now, as far as the story goes, they all of a sudden came around, started killing people, causing havoc all over the world, causing riots, explosions, anarchy, lots, causing more widespread and worldwide trouble than a world war. But, however, towards the end, it's quite possible that a world war could be started in the midst of this due to an aerial nuclear attack by the United States, causing at least the country of Japan to be EMP'd. Now, the story itself, like I said, follows a group of brave high school students of various hair color and breast size. These kids are brave. These kids are childish still, really, but of course that's to be expected of kids being thrown into a world where they must kill to survive. Boys must take care of the girls must take care of the boys. There's no one way, everyone must work as a team. And the story goes is how kids must go from safe house to safe house, looking for their families, hoping that everyone is safe, and witnessing the people of the world deteriorate into meaningless violence and disorder caused of widespread panic because no one knows what's going on. But on top of that, no one knows what to do. And so these kids try in a very exciting and bloody way to do whatever they must do. Characters themselves, you have a pink-haired one. She's a genius. I believe she's got about 180 IQ. Her family is also very rich, and she is a royal bitch who thinks herself better than everyone else. Then you have this brown-haired girl who was / is in love with the primary male character, then started dating his best friend because he wouldn't make a move. Said best friend was bitten by them, turned into them, and therefore the protagonist, Takashi, killed him, even though he had already lost his sanity, but he did not want to die. You also have the military otaku, Hirano. Yes, he's chubby, he's got glasses, he gets made fun of. But you cannot survive in a world full of them without someone who knows a bit about firearms. And taking aside myself and my knowledge of firearms, and the fact that I have a concealed carry license, Hirano is very useful. He's even able to make a ordinary gas-powered nail gun into something that looks like someone in the military would use, almost like a homemade nail gun version of an MP5. It was very creative and very useful, very good. His knowledge of weapons helps the team out greatly, and he is very entertaining in a comedic and realistic way. You also have this little girl and a dog. The little girl is now orphaned, and the dog just barks and causes a lot of trouble. But he's still slightly helpful. The little girl isn't. But like I say, she's just a little girl. She just needs protected. We also have the purple-haired psycho. In one way, she is a bit of a psycho. She takes a lot of pleasure out of killing them with her wooden sword, and then she finally gets a actual katana, which is a lot more useful in fighting them. She is one of my personal favorite characters because she is a nicely developed and dynamic character, as well as very pleasing to the eyes and exciting to watch in the action scenes. Now otherwise we have the former school nurse, who has an impossibly large bust. Well, one could guess the size, but the fact that she's a ditzy blonde, basically full-on Americanizer. But she's useful because obviously she's a nurse, and she has a friend who is very well off in the Japanese police force, or the special task force. So she is helpful in that way, and she's the driver, so she's got a bit of experience. She's able to drive a little car, a big bus, and a military-grade Hummer. So that's always good to have someone who's familiar with the stick shift and being able to drive a multitude of vehicles. Now that is our primary group of characters, and they are traveling the streets of Tokyo in search of their families and ways to survive. And I commend them on their bravery and somewhat acts of stupidity. Now, next I want to talk to you about the difference between the manga and the anime. And the manga itself has been running since 2006. It has 7 volumes out currently in Japan. 2 volumes are now out in the US thanks to Yen Press. I currently own both volumes that are out right now, and the first 2 volumes cover to about episode 7 of the anime. The drawing compared to the animation is spot on. There's hardly any difference between the two besides coloring. As far as the story is keeping about the same pace, which is very good. I've not seen much to complain about in any way, even as far as the wording and how the stories are done, as far as the editing and whatnot. So as a comparison, the manga is very enjoyable, but if you are looking for the obvious enjoyment of the visual effects, then the anime is the way to go. Because obviously there's a lot of action and fan service that goes on in this series that most can appreciate more through the visual stimulation of the Blu-ray anime. Now, to summarize what I've stated, they have practically taken over the world, possibly starting another world war, nuclear this time, and we are following a group of Japanese high school students on their journey to hopefully find their family safe, keep themselves safe in the time being, and find out what the fuck is just going on. Because we don't know why. Sub versus dub. Sub is the more preferable way to go, but the dub is not without its merits, be it mostly lacking in a lot of ways, or a number of ways, not a lot of ways. The animation is very good, story is fun, it's easy to pick a couple of favorite characters and be annoyed with others. And your choice of either the manga or the anime is entirely up to you. Either way, you're going to win. Now, the box set itself, as I said, it's 2 discs. It's very lacking on the special features side and practically has the same trailers as the Demon King Daimao Blu-ray release from Sentai Filmworks earlier this month. And so there's not a whole lot to it. Basically, you just buy the Blu-ray for the series itself. Because the artwork is not too bad in the front or the back. As you can see, there's nothing much to the inside except the discs. So overall, you, the people, the world, the internet, wherever you are and you are viewing this, I now am telling you that you need to watch out for them. You need to be prepared. And even though I give this an overall 4.5, and it's exactly what I've been looking for, I want you all to know that yes, you must be prepared, because sometimes we must fight to survive. Sometimes we must kill in that fight. It's just a consequence of what can be nothing less described than a type of war. And we, the living people, will win this war. And I hope you are all with me. Because if not, I wish you all the best of luck being on your own. But I hope for all of your support. And hopefully I do have Fox Fire Arts support, along with many others. So with this, my fellow Americans, the rest of the internet, via YouTube, Anime Vice, and any other website that might embed and use this video, good luck and good night.